Welcome back to the Manx Telecom Village with Energy FM. We have now eventually tracked down Ian Parsons, President of the Manx National Farmers Union. Good morning, Ian.
Good morning.
How are you finding the show so far?
Yeah, it's an awful lot better now the sun's shining. It was a little bit worrying this morning how wet it was.
Yeah.
I know certainly bringing some livestock in for the show stand. It was a little bit soggy coming in with the truck and trailer, so if that had continued, we could have been in a bit of a mess, but it's good to see the sun out.
And what can people find if they come to the NFU tent?
I think this year we've really tried to demonstrate what agricultural businesses spend in the local economy and the multiplier effect of that. We've just got the map of the Isle of Man central to the stand and just sort of demonstrate different businesses that farmers deal with. There's a lot of money goes through the agricultural community, but that's then again all spent in local businesses, mostly on island.
And obviously we do hear quite a bit that agriculture isn't the easiest of industries to be in at the minute. How is the current state of agriculture over here?
Yeah, it's still very challenging. Some of the input costs have dropped a little bit since last year, but profitability will be very challenging, I would think, this year. Last year, with the huge rise in fertilisers, most businesses just stopped spending on anything other than bare essentials that had to be spent. Whereas you can't continue a business long term like that. You've got sort of repairs, renewals, equipment needs replacing. Otherwise, you soon run into an old fleet. So it's very difficult to try and get back onto reinvesting in your business with the lack of profitability that there is at the moment. And certainly commodity prices have come back pretty hard this last 3 or 4 months. Price of milk's dropping and dropping hard. To do with the commodity cheese price. Beef and lamb are both back, and cereals really fell back last year, though probably have taken a little bit of a rise with what's happening again in Ukraine. So it's just a very volatile time, really.
And then I suppose with the added stress of interest rates, for people I think sometimes don't realise the effect that would have on the farmers. Can you just explain a bit?
Yeah, an awful lot. In agriculture, an awful lot of the income can be seasonal. It's not dairy's maybe a little bit different, where there'll be a milk check every month. But certainly in the red meat sector and the cereal sector, it can be very seasonal. So businesses can often find that for certain times of the year they're running on overdraft as well. So that's suddenly become quite expensive. And if you're reinvesting and putting up a new parlour or kit buildings for livestock, you run into hundreds of thousands of pounds. So quite often that money isn't just lying there in the business. So you rely on bank loans of kinds to reinvest in the business. So interest rates like they are with all people are really going to have a massive effect, I would think. And
with our summer being a little damp, most people obviously just ruins their summer holidays or that kind of thing, their nice summer season. What effect does that have on farmers?
It's huge. I remember being at Anderson's seminar a number of years ago, and it tracked profitability on farms over the previous 5 years, and then it also then overlaid how the weather had been during the summer and the exchange rates. And the weather and exchange rates have a far greater effect on profitability on farms than what you can actually do yourself day to day. So this summer on the Isle of Man's been hugely challenging. We've gone from a late spring into one of the hottest periods in June that we've seen, where grass growth really slowed down, to the last 4 weeks. July has just been one of the wettest I can remember. I know we're a lot later doing the second cut of silage, and we got it done there last week, and the conditions underfoot are unbelievably wet. So that's going to have a massive impact on harvest times. Nicely underway now. That's going to have the real impact on trying to get the crops off.
We spoke about it earlier just before, how currently the average age for a farmer is 65 or around that. What kind of impact does that have, do you think, on agriculture? Well,
it can't continue. Like, the average age of farmers on the Isle of Man is increasing. To be fair, it is throughout the whole of Great Britain. But I think it's even older over here. It's over 65 now. And that's going to be a real issue going forwards, because it can't continue to rise. We'll reach a cliff edge. I personally think that's also quite linked to the lack of profitability. It's very hard to plan succession. Other businesses can offer a far better rate of pay than what we can in agriculture. So, school leavers can go straight in working in the finance sector on sort of 35 to 35,000 pound a year, which is very difficult to try and pay that from an agricultural business. But that is down to the profitability. We are a business, and we should be competing with those other industries in paying the right of what people deserve for what the work they put in. But that also makes it difficult for trying to do share farming and things like that, because if there's barely a profit to make for one person in the business, it makes it really difficult to try and share that two ways. So it's going to be very, very challenging going forward to keep young entrants coming into the industry.
And what would you like to see change within the industry itself, so there is a future there for existing farmers and also new ones that would like to enter into the industry?
Oh, that's a very difficult one. There's so many things can all make a difference, like routes to market, different types of, I suppose, different markets, both on island, off island. But at the end of the day, they've got to be profitable. So without that profitability there, it is going to be very difficult. We need, the local consumers to buy into Manx produce, which they are very good to support. But the more and more we can get them to support, and the large retailers, some of the large retailers on Ireland aren't very supportive of local products. So, if our ability to produce our own food is lost, it'll never be regained again. So it is vital that we keep that going, and we need political will. To be fair, it's very easy to knock our DEFA minister, but at the end of the day, her hands might be tied as well. So we need that buy-in from Treasury too, and government, because government don't use an awful lot of Manx produce.
No,
so they should be leading by example. It's that multiplier effect, like I said, we're showcasing on the stand, of the spend in the local economy is far better than spend off island.
Thank you very much, Ian, for your time. Really appreciate it.